Alex Diaz sat in the car, clutching the steering wheel with both hands, in shock. This was originally a peaceful morning. He was driving and drinking coffee while preparing to head to the small restaurant he opened to kick off his workday. This ordinary day looks no different from the past. But while driving, Diaz accidentally spilled hot coffee on his lap. This middle-aged man in his 40s immediately picked up the paper reflexively and began to wipe the hot liquid on his pants, feeling relieved for a while. Then, all this happened. Boom! When Diaz suddenly braked after hearing the sound and raised his head again, a man had fallen on the zebra crossing in front of his car. Watching the man fall to the ground and no reaction, old Diaz was terrified. He knew that from this moment on, an ordinary day had gone away from him. He has an issue, he has an event. After regaining consciousness, Diaz hurriedly got out of the car, ready to step forward to check the situation of the man who fell on the ground. Diaz has been honest throughout his life and has never done anything extraordinary. In the eyes of neighbors, he is also a very responsible husband and father. Hit and run? That's not something he can do. Furthermore, in this small town with a small population, in this era when the streets are full of surveillance, trying to escape responsibility is simply a fantasy. "Sir, how are you?" Diaz yelled as he approached the man on the ground carefully. But after shouting, the man who fell on the ground still didn't respond. And judging from the amount of bleeding on his head, the situation is not optimistic. Just as Diaz was about to move closer, the blood-stained man on the ground who had been unresponsive, suddenly sat up. "Oh, fuck!" Diaz yelled and took a step back. He was really taken aback. At this moment, he felt that his pants were soaked with warm liquid again. Diaz didn't see the man lying on the ground until now, to be precise, the appearance of a boy. Although he is very tall, the face of the guy who fell on the ground is very young, and he looks like he is only about 20 years old. The most distinctive thing is that the boy he knocked down had an Asian face. Before Diaz calmed down, the boy who sat up suddenly began to yell. The boy seemed very angry, but Diaz couldn't understand a word he said. Because what he was shouting was not in English, but in a language that Diaz was not familiar with. "Fuck, don't you know how to be courteous to pedestrians? Didn't you see the red light? How come you get to the zebra crossing and suddenly accelerate?" Halfway through the scolding, the boy suddenly stopped for some reason, and the scolding stopped abruptly. He looked around in amazement, the expression on his face gradually changed from anger to surprise. The boy remembered that he was indeed hit by a car, but the incident was not in this completely unfamiliar place. What the is going on?" the boy muttered to himself. His name is Wayne, an ordinary person who has just graduated from university. He lives a 996 life from the company to the rental house every day at 2 points and 1 line, and he has no time to set up a street stall. Wayne's life is very ordinary, no rich, no girlfriend, no rich father, but at least he can barely survive. One day when he was crossing the road on his way home from get off work, he was knocked down by a car that was speeding through a red light. Wayne fainted at the time, and now when he wakes up, everything around him has changed. There are no familiar blue license plates, no familiar streets, and no familiar barbecue stalls around the corner. Was replaced by a completely unfamiliar environment, an old pickup truck and a big beard with wet pants and a peculiar smell. Gringo? Wait, did you get hit and fly abroad? Just then, Wayne felt a sharp pain in his head. A series of memories that didn't belong to him flooded into his mind like a flood. Before Wayne could digest these memories carefully, Diaz leaned forward again. "You wake up, child. I'll take you to the hospital." Veen looked at the bearded gringle in front of him suspiciously. He hadn't figured out what was going on. The other party spoke English, but Wayne could understand every word he said. Although Wayne's English score was really good at the time of the college entrance examination, after 4 years of work hard in college, he had already returned the knowledge to the teacher. Is it caused by the memories that just poured into your head? Let's go, your head is bleeding a lot. Don't worry, I will call the police when I get to the hospital. Right now, your life safety is the most important thing, my child. Seeing Wayne sitting on the ground in a daze, Diaz took the initiative to help him up. He thought the child was frightened. After Wayne stood up, Diaz found that he had to talk to Wayne with his head held high. This, so short. Wayne curled his lips while looking at the gringe in front of him. This guy, how can he get to his chest? Didn't you say that Europeans and Americans are so tall? Wayne, who has been fixed at 1.73 meters in height since his second year of high school, rarely has this kind of superior feeling on weekdays. Is it possible that this foreigner doesn't even have 1.6 meters? But soon Wayne discovered that not only was the bearded gringle short in front of him, other things around, such as trash cans, street lights, etc., seemed to be much shorter. Wayne looked confused and didn't even know how he got in the car. He only felt that he was embarrassed in the car, like being squeezed in a small three-wheeler. How come things here seem to be scaled down? Even the car has become much smaller. And wait, why does Wayne vaguely feel that there is a smell of urine in this car? Those bearded trousers just got wet, shouldn't it be? I'm sorry kid, I admit that I just lost my mind while driving. But don't worry, I will never escape my responsibility. Diaz almost didn't cry as he said. Grandma's leg, the emergency medical expenses of the United States are not for fun with you. Honest people are really bad. Take responsibility. Wayne's head started to hurt again. What is this all about? He remembered that he was hit at an intersection outside the community. You are really tall, over 6 feet tall, right? Are you a basketball player? Seeing Wayne reacted, Diaz immediately started a new topic. Diaz is actually not in the mood to chat with Wayne, he is just worried that Wayne fainted again, so he kept talking to him to help him stay awake. Basketball player. Wayne continued to mumble to himself. The word basketball player is like a switch, making the muddy memories that have just been poured into his mind gradually become clear. In this new memory, he is still called Wayne, but he is no longer an ordinary college graduate, but a sophomore NCAA player. Wayne's father used to be a professional basketball player. At the end of his career in the 1990s, he briefly played in the A-League, which was not yet called the CBA. Of course, Wayne's father is not well known, nor has he played for the national team. And the wages of athletes in that era were similar to those of ordinary workers, so Wayne's family was not rich, rather ordinary. Wayne also liked basketball since he was a child, and because he inherited his father's genes, he grew taller than ordinary children. This can explain why the surrounding things have become shorter. In fact, it is not that those things have become shorter, but Wayne is now taller than before. After graduating from high school, Wayne was sent to the United States to study in the United States for various reasons, where he completed his studies while playing ball. Finally, the four numbers 2003 appeared in Wayne's mind. Well, this is the current year. After the memory gradually became clear, Wayne opened his mouth little by little. I am crossing over. Wayne has always been a fan of web writing, and has fantasized about crossing this kind of thing many times. Can really meet now, but it is difficult to accept for a while. After all, he was more than 10 years old instantly, from the POST90s to the POST80s. And Wayne's waiting for the game Cyberpunk 2077, after several postponements, it clearly seems that it will be released in more than 2 months. It's fine now, but another 17 years. The sky is so dark, it's so magical. 2020, really is a magical year. Wayne had been clamoring that it would be great if 2020 could read files again like playing a game. Unexpectedly, he really got such an opportunity. It's just that, this round is reopened too far. In this age without smartphones and a developed network environment, isn't life unpretentious and boring? Wait. After sorting out the new memory, Wayne couldn't help but look at his hands. In other words, are you a basketball player now? Although it's only an NCAA player, but does this mean that you have the opportunity to be a basketball star, enter the NBA, earn money wildly, and win by few may? Wayne is a deep basketball fan in his previous life. As a fan, who hasn't become a part of the NBA superstar? Whether in the past or present, being a basketball star has always been Wayne's ultimate dream. Well, for Wayne, who has been mediocre in the past and can't even get into the high school team, reading www.yuyugonshu.com is not so much a dream, as it is a fantasy more appropriate. But according to Wayne's new memory, although he is currently playing in the NCAA, it seems that he doesn't mix well. The reality is so cruel. As a veteran fan in his previous life, Wayne knows that no Chinese player can successfully enter the NBA stage through the NCAA road. There are only a few Chinese players who can play in the NBA. How could this kind of good thing fall on him? The dream seems to be shattered before it even starts. The kind of thing in which the protagonist inexplicably obtained Grant Hill's ability in the novel Reverse Growth Superstar is really just a plot that only appears in the novel. Hey, my head hurts. I don't know whether it was the memory of two people in his head or the cause of being hit by a car. Wayne's head was in pain again. He couldn't help closing his eyes, and slowly opened them when the pain eased. But when Wayne opened his eyes again, he was stunned by what he saw. The words "system has been activated" appeared in front of Wayne. This is the crossing benefits paid. Wayne was about to take a closer look at the interface in front of him, but the words were wiped out by Diaz's sudden break. "We are in the hospital, kid." Diaz turned his head and shouted, "QTMD." Wayne couldn't help but scolded him. If his bludgeon was lost by this old man, he promised that he would fight hard with that big beard. Tomatoes. Diaz looked at Wayne in surprise and scratched his head. "This kid, I'm afraid I was stunned, right?" After bandaging the wound in the hospital and doing a series of examinations, Wayne, who had been tossing for a long time, was sent to the ward. When the nurse left after explaining all the precautions, and closed the door of the ward, Wayne's ear finally calmed down. After so many messy things, he finally has time to calm down and think alone. Sitting on the hospital bed, Wayne took a deep breath. Although there have been many more magical facts than novels in 2020. But Wayne still needs to slow down at this time and clearly stroke the situation he is facing now. "So, I went back to 2003 and became a sophomore NCAA player. Judging from that new memory, the history of this world is almost exactly the same as that of Wayne's previous life. At least so far is the same. It is September, which means that Chairman Yao is just a rookie who has just finished his rookie season at this time. Michael Jordan has just finished his last season, and the four heroes has not yet shined in the league. Is really a very old age." After slowly accepting the fact that he had returned to the past, Wayne stood up and walked into the bathroom. He was curious what he was like now. However, facing the mirror in the bathroom, Wayne found that he could not see his face at all. Because the mirror can only illuminate Wayne's chest, he is so tall. "Damn, it's the first time I feel that growing tall is so troublesome," Wayne murmured in his heart. He always wanted to grow taller before, but now that he really grows taller, he has to bend down when he enters a door and looks in a mirror. Make Wayne very uncomfortable. Bent down, Wayne finally saw himself in the mirror, who he is now. Black hair, black eyes, a relatively thin body at this height. Although there is a bandage wrapped around his forehead, the three-dimensional sunlight's facial features are still very recognizable. Wayne doesn't know if he can play in the NBA, but he thinks he can still play with his looks. Not bad, this sense of substitution came up instantly. But speaking of playing NBA, Wayne touched his chin, remembering the row of words that appeared in front of him in the bearded car just now. "The system has been activated." Where has it been activated? After being interrupted by Beard's sudden break, Wayne did not appear any more prompts. Could this plugin really get lost by that big beard? Wayne doesn't want to be the first traveler ever to lose the plugin. Wayne sat back on the hospital bed depressed. Is it possible that in this life, entering the NBA and becoming a big star still can only be an unrealistic fantasy? Can't be blind to this body and the identity of the NCAA player. Just when Wayne was concentrating on how to wake up the system, a virtual interface appeared in front of Wayne. Host, Wayne. Nationality, Chinese. Age, 20 years old, birthday, July 6, 1983. Height, 211 centimeters. Weight, 92 kilograms. The height of 2 meters 11 is 92 kilograms? No wonder it looks like a bamboo pole. Wayne looked at the basic information in front of him, looked at his slender arm, and curled his mouth. It seems that most of the Chinese players in this era are generally thin, and Chairman Yao, who has not fully gained weight now, is also like Zuganer. After spit out, Wayne resumed browsing. He found that as long as he concentrated his attention, the interface of the system would automatically appear before his eyes. So when the beard slammed the brakes, the plugin was not lost, it was just put away. After reading the basic information, he continued down. Wayne found that several interfaces were black and could not be viewed. It seemed that they needed to be unlocked further. So, Wayne looked at the abilities evaluation interface that can be viewed at present. Offensive, 72 in the shot, 61 3-pointers, 43 low offense. Defense, 46 blocks, 70 defensive rebounds. Technique, pass 63. Physical fitness, strength 21, physical fitness 63. After reading his current ability value evaluation, Wayne wiped the sweat from his forehead. Show, it's so showy. This ability value simply showed Wayne's face. As a player with a height of 2.11 meters, it stands to reason that he must be playing inside. But, what is the low offense only 43? There is still power, only 21, is this a joke? The level of being overwhelmed by the guard at the basket? On the contrary, shooting and passing are more suitable for outside players. This skill tree is completely crooked. But combining his current figure, Wayne desperately realized that this ability value was actually too low to be reasonable. And this ability evaluation is too simple, right? Although it is divided into 4 categories that seem to be very detailed, there are 8 items in total. However, Wayne soon discovered that many items that cannot be viewed in the ability evaluation interface are also blacked out. It is estimated that other ability values need to be unlocked in some way before they can be checked further. At the bottom of the ability evaluation interface, there are 2 similar skill slots, badges, and shooting actions. It's just that these 2 slots are empty now, and there are no items to equip. Finally, the system told Wayne very intimately. The current draft pick prediction, lost. That's not it, just this ability value, if you are selected, it is really called magic. After reading his own ability interface, Wayne was completely autistic. Is too real. As long as there is a late year Grant Hill's ability, it would not be so miserable. Now that I have this ability, I want to play the NBA? It's better to stay in the youth team at home. Speaking of it, Wayne has been having a question just now. As a Chinese with a height of 2.11 meters and his father is a former professional player, why did he not enter the youth team system, but was sent to the NCAA by his family? It stands to reason that, in this era, children of his height should have been dragged by the local youth team to play basketball, right? Now that he saw his abilities, Wayne knew the reason. Although he is tall and has a good static talent, his dynamic talent is very ordinary. Whether there is talent or not is actually easy to see. The truly talented Chairman Yao was already able to play professional basketball when he was 16 years old, and he had already emerged in CBA when he was 17. Wayne did stay in the youth team in his hometown, but at the time he was not up to the level of a professional player in China. Maybe it's because I'm not good enough, so the family can send myself to NCAA for gold plating? Shallow. Wayne thought too shallowly. His dad, who is a past man, is actually much more thoughtful than Wayne. Wayne's father sent him out to study abroad because he actually hoped that his son would not go to death on the road of basketball. Sent to the United States to study at a university, one can have better training conditions and basketball environment. Secondly, it is also the most important point. Even if he fails to play professional basketball in the end and has a degree in studying abroad, Wayne will not achieve nothing. In 2003, the identity of Turtle was quite popular. At this time in China, college basketball has not yet developed, and sports and academics can hardly be chosen. If you choose the wrong path, it will be difficult to start again. If Wayne stays in the youth team and fails to make a career in the end, what can he do? But now, Wayne is equivalent to a double insurance, without delay in school and basketball. Besides, Wayne's father has another consideration. The various obstacles Yao Ming and Wang Zhizi have encountered in going to the NBA over the years have made people know for the first time the various constraints that players in the system are facing. The sentence "I cultivated him" will become the capital of all people and lions. According to rumors, the Shanghai team imposed a lot of harsh conditions on the NBA before they were willing to let Yao Ming go. If it weren't for Yao Ming's threat to retire without letting others go, it is estimated that the Shanghai team really wants to rely on him to smash the NBA. Later, it is said that the Basketball Association also asked Yao Ming to hand in 50% of his salary in the NBA. It was the NBA Players Union who came forward to resolve this matter. Now let Wayne break away from the youth team system to the NCAA development. In case of any success in the future, it will not be restricted by various restrictions. Of course, this only accounts for a small part of the factor, because the chances of Wayne being famous are very low. The biggest reason why he was sent to study abroad is because his family hopes that he can get a diploma while playing. It seems that Wayne and his father still know his son's basketball talent. Is really touching. In the end, is it just a height? Wayne silently closed the ability evaluation interface. Those values are really too spicy. But at the bottom of the system interface, Wayne saw a hint that gave him a little hope. The growth points needed to unlock the next stage of the system, 1000. Yes, the function of this system is not only to display one's own ability value. If you get enough growth points, you should be able to unlock more things or increase your ability value. Wayne, who had just been splashed with cold water by his own ability value, revived the small flame in his heart. Just. How do I get this growth point? What is it? Couldn't it be more detailed? This time, the system finally gave a response, showing a brief explanation of how to get points in front of Wayne. Through training and competition, you can get a certain amount of growth points. The number of growth points obtained will vary according to the intensity and method of training or competition. The explanation is indeed too simple, and Wayne is also half knowledgeable, but he has some ideas. To put it simply, it is the same as playing a game. You need to accumulate experience and upgrade through training and competition. Finally, Wayne found that there was an icon flashing in the lower left corner of the system interface. After clicking on the icon in his consciousness, the sentence "The newbie gift package has been received" occupied Wayne's vision. And this thing? Sure enough, I am destined to be a man who is going to be the best player in the basketball world. Wayne triumphantly rested his eyes on the gift bag, and soon the introduction reappeared. Novice gift pack. You can randomly draw one of the 3 rewards: rare badges, shooting actions, or 50,000 high growth points. 50,000 high growth points. Wayne looked at the profile and was already fantasizing about the scene where he turned over. Onet heard of the probability. You can't be so dark that you can't get it. Turn on. After a white light, Wayne did not see the prompt of growth points plus 50,000. Appeared in front of his eyes is a purple badge. Congratulations to the host for drawing the badge. Big Heart Killer. Effect: at the end of the game, the shooting ability is greatly enhanced. UU reading www.uuganshu.com greatly reduces the impact of opponent interference on shooting, and greatly reduces the impact of physical factors on shooting. That's it. Wayne people were stupid. Although Wayne, who often plays games, knows that the purple badge is very likely to represent the highest level badge, but he is now a little substitute who is untenable in the NCAA. He wants this stuff to be useful. Because even if there is a chance to make a key ball, it is not his turn to make it. Which coach has a brain that will specially arrange a small substitute to throw the key ball? It's better to draw growth points directly, even if it's a badge, it's better to have a practical point. Onet heard of the probability will not be defeated. Wayne's African ancestry has been hit. No matter it was in the past life or now, he never paled out of the box. How should I go on this road of basketball in the future? I knew I had just washed my face and then smoked. Just as Wayne was at a loss, someone knocked on the door of the ward. Then, a strong black man walked in. Looking at Wayne with a bandage on his head, his mouth turned into an O shape and his expression was very exaggerated. God, I rushed over as soon as I received the news. Are you okay? Did the check result come out? What about the driver? Facing this enthusiastic black buddy, Wayne scratched his head. Who are you? He just thinks this guy is familiar. He seems to have seen this face on TV in his previous life. After trying hard to remember, Wayne learned that this guy seems to be his teammate on the basketball team, and he is also the team's ace. His name seems to be Tony Allen. Tony Allen, this man is definitely not a superstar in NBA history. In fact, Wayne's previous life, Tony Allen has not been selected to the All-Star team even once until he retires. His stats in the NBA were mediocre. He averaged double-digit points per game in only one season of his career. But this is such a seemingly ordinary guy, but he is a ruthless character that almost all basketball fans know. His statistics are seriously inconsistent with his reputation. Is such a role player who has not even been selected by the All-Star team. The Grizzlies are even willing to retire his jersey. Tony Allen does not have the statistics and honor of star players, but he has a reputation not inferior to star players. Therefore, Wayne was still very excited when he saw Tony Allen. Although he was a senior basketball fan in his previous life, Wayne did not have the financial means to watch NBA games on the spot, and he had never seen a real NBA star. Now, when a future NBA star player appeared in front of him, Wayne's emotions became agitated at once, and instantly changed from a dumb face to a bright eye. Is this a real NBA player? And shorter than me? Wayne said, standing up and touching Tony Allen's arm. This steely touch, this sturdy figure, yes, it really is him. Wayne, how are you weird? Tony Allen felt the air around him become ambiguous, so he quickly threw away Wayne's arm. Gay, what's the situation? Tony Allen still doesn't know. In the future he will meet a teammate who even has a name. It's great to see you, Tony. After trying to control his emotions, Wayne smiled and sat back on the hospital bed. The new memory tells Wayne that he and Tony Allen are not only teammates in college, but also very good friends. Now Tony Allen is already a senior, and he will participate in the draft next summer. It stands to reason that he is Wayne's senior. But in fact, both of them are new players who just joined the team last season. Tony Allen studied and played in a junior college 2 years ago. Later, he came to Oklahoma State University through the college promotion method and became teammates with Wayne. It is worth mentioning that Tony Allen majored in education at the university. So, he really is a veritable Tony teacher. Since they are both newcomers to the team, Tony Allen and Wayne quickly became one and the relationship has been good. As a good friend of Wayne, Tony Allen rushed to the hospital as soon as he received the news on the training ground today. I have to say, Tony Allen really values his friends. In the future in the NBA, he and most of his teammates can establish a deep friendship, not without reason. Are you okay? How could this happen? The other party was drunk and driving. Seeing Wayne finally return to normal, Tony Allen started asking about the situation with concern. No, he drove me to the hospital soon after he knocked me down. It didn't look like a drinker, and there was no smell of alcohol. Well, there is no alcohol on the beard, but there is a smell that is more pungent than alcohol. Is there anything uncomfortable now? It's just that the head hurts a bit. I have been checked up just now, and the results should come out soon. Wayne took a look at his body. He is now moving freely, unlike any signs of fracture. Then I will wait to see if there is any problem with brain CT. Hey, it's okay, Wayne. The new season is about to begin. If you can't participate in training because of this, it will be troublesome. This season, you have to make an impact toward the starting position. Yes, we have to kill the quartet together in March Madness. When Tony Allen said this, his eyes were full of longing. After all, as a senior, this is his last chance to prove himself to the NBA. Last season, the Oklahoma State University Cowboys, where Wayne and Tony Allen belonged, have already entered the March Madness championship. Only the first round was unfortunately out. This year, after Tony Allen and others are more mature, the team's goal is to reach the sweet top 16 of the championship. Although the Oklahoma State University Cowboys are not as well known as the top traditional NCAA powerhouses such as North Carolina and Duke, the last time the team won the NCAA championship was in 1946. However, the Cowboys, who have participated in the March Madness championship many times, are still a traditional team, so there are still certain requirements for results. But Wayne is not too concerned about whether the team can achieve their goals next season. Tony Allen is right. Right now, the most important thing for him is to enter the starting lineup. If you can't be a star in the NCAA, then don't talk about the NBA. In the future, the tool-man point guard Mario Chalmers next to James was selected in the second round, and his NBA resume is mediocre. But when he was in college, he was the winner of the semi-final mop. It was he who led the team to overthrow the University of Memphis, led by number 1 pick Ross, in the final. So, if you want to enter the field of vision of an NBA scout, you must at least be a college star. The first step to becoming a star is to start with the starting lineup. It is September, and the regular season of the NCAA league starts in November. This means that Wayne now has 2 months to figure out how to obtain growth points and improve his strength. 2 months, the time is still a bit tight. He has to find the fastest way to gain points in order to make a blockbuster in the new season. That's right, we have to hurry up to train in these 2 months, Tony. In addition to the team's regular training, we had better practice some privately. If we can lead the team to the Sweet 16, the NBA, the scouts from here will definitely admire you. Wayne nodded in agreement. Of course, his real purpose is to bring in a quasi-NBA player to accompany him in training. This will definitely help a little bit. As for the Sweet 16, NBA scouts, well, in Chinese, those are called painting pie. But Tony Allen doesn't think so. Seeing Wayne so high-spirited, and even offered to practice more, Tony Allen had an expression of admiration. Slightly injured, Wayne is really a tough guy. Teacher Tony said in his heart. He doesn't know yet, he has become Wayne's tool man before he knows it. The two were chatting, and the bearded Diaz walked into the ward with a bunch of inspection reports from Wayne. As soon as Diaz walked in, Wayne smelled a strong pungent smell. The guy has not had time to change his pants. Thank God, the doctor said that you just suffered some skin trauma. Your bones are really hard enough. If everything goes well, you can be discharged from the hospital in the afternoon when you observe it. Diaz was ecstatic, looking happier than Wayne. Major matters are reduced, which is the best result for both parties. Wayne also let out a sigh of relief after getting the test result, so that he won't delay the training time. Be careful when driving, uncle, you're lucky this time. Also, your pants. Wayne pointed to Diaz's pants, and Diaz remembered that he had just been scared. Urine thing. I'm really sorry, boy. Let's do this, you write down my phone number, and I will give you a 50% discount when you eat at my restaurant. It's compensation. Seeing that the beard was so enthusiastic, Wayne prepared to take out his cell phone and write down Diaz's phone number. As soon as he took out the phone, Wayne realized that he was holding a brick-shaped Nokia. I almost forgot, this is 2003. Hey, I'll buy a new pair of pants first. In the afternoon, a nurse will take you to go through the discharge procedures. After exchanging numbers, Diaz left the ward with a grin. Are you sure that guy didn't drink? Tony Allen was speechless. Would normal people forget to pee on themselves? Okay, leave him alone. I will return to the team for training tomorrow, time is running out. Wayne waved his hand, he couldn't wait to explore how to obtain growth points. The road to becoming a star starts now. After being discharged from the hospital in the afternoon, Wayne and Tony Allen went back to school directly. Oklahoma State University is located in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Stillwater City is not big, because this entire small city is almost a college town for Oklahoma State University. So, I can't see the high-rise buildings. And the biggest feature of Oklahoma is that you can hardly find a small mountain bag. There are no tall buildings and no mountains, standing on the street, completely out of sight, as if in the desert. In addition, Jingshui City itself is sparsely populated, and it is full of large lawn open spaces, giving people a very desolate feeling. I used to see how prosperous the United States was on TV before, and it turned out to be an illusion created by evil capitalism. This place is not as lively as the small second-tier city where Wayne lived in his previous life. There was nothing around, and Wayne, who was going abroad for the first time, had no interest in walking around. After returning to the dormitory to rest for a while, he held a basketball and walked to the basketball court downstairs in the dormitory at night. Going to practice tomorrow, Wayne wants to get used to the feeling of playing basketball with this new body. And in this age of underdeveloped mobile phones, Wayne really has nothing to do besides playing basketball. As soon as he stepped onto the basketball court with a basketball in his arms, the system prompts whether to enter training mode. After choose yes, several training items to choose from appear on the interface. It seems that because this is a wild field, due to the limited conditions, there are not many training options available. Without much entanglement, Wayne chose the simplest mid-range shooting training that seemed to be the simplest. He still remembers that he has the highest mid-range throw value among his abilities, and there should be no problem in completing the training. After is selected, the training goal appears in the system, hit 100 shots at any position in the middle distance, and the training can be completed. Wayne dribbled the ball a few times, then handsomely fell back and shot a jumper. He thought that as an NCAA player, his shooting must be very reliable. As a veteran fan Wayne in his previous life, he knew very well that a player with a real professional level, shooting without defense, can almost be said to be 100 shots. Even Howard, in training, he can become Thunder Allen in seconds. He was wrong as a result, his first shot was cruelly rejected by the basket. UU reading www.uugonshu.com, mistakes, mistakes. Wayne curled his lips and became serious. Then, bang! A symphony of iron strikes sounded on the basketball court. In the end, Wayne completed the training goal of 100 hits in the field at the cost of 50 irons. I made more than 150 baskets in a row and had to pick up the ball by myself. It was really tiring. Wayne wiped his sweat, he knew that his hard work would not be wasted, because after finishing the training, the system had already settled his growth points. According to Wayne's previous experience in playing games, it is generally easy to upgrade for the first time, maybe it can be upgraded in one training session. The result: Complete training, gain plus 10 points. Wayne is petrified, only 10 growth points are added for more than 150 shots, and the growth points required to level up are 1000 points. In other words, you have to repeat this 100 times to reach the demand for 1000 points. Assuming that Wayne has to shoot 150 shots every time he completes his goal, then if he wants to get 1000 growth points, Wayne has to shoot 15,000 shots. And with physical exertion, it may not be so smooth every time. This is only the first time to level up, and the growth points needed to upgrade in the future will definitely be more. When do I have to practice? November, the new season is about to start. At this time, Wayne put down the basketball and began to recall the previous system's explanation of the growth point acquisition. The number of growth points obtained will vary according to the intensity and method of training or competition. It seems that a more efficient method must be found. Although he knew that training alone is not the most efficient way, mosquito meat is also meat. That night, Wayne returned to the dormitory contentedly with 90 growth points. Of course, Wayne didn't get the points after repeating 9 midrange shooting training. If you rely on midrange shooting training, it means that Wayne has to shoot at least 1,350 shots a night to get 90 growth points, which is the ideal situation. In actual operation, not a single 1,500 shots will definitely not be able to get. For Wayne, who is in this physical condition, shooting more than 1,500 shots in one night can exhaust him. However, in fact, Wayne only took less than 700 shots to get 90 growth points tonight. Because after the first midrange shooting practice ended, Wayne tried another 3-point shooting training. What was unexpected to Wayne was that the growth points gained from completing a round of 3-point shooting training were as high as 40 points. Although the 3-point field goal percentage is definitely not as good as the midrange, Wayne took about 220 shots before reaching the 100 goals requirement. But after completing a round of training, the points gained are 4 times as many as midrange shots. This is simply a profit, there is nothing. Wayne, who tasted the sweetness, tried another 3-point training and finally returned to the dormitory with 90 growth points. As a big player with a height of 2.11 meters, it seems weird to practice 3-pointers constantly. What's more, it was 2003. Big men shooting from outside is not the mainstream, and some are even unwelcome. But, there are so many growth points to take, let him go. When Wayne returned to the dorm exhausted, his roommate had not yet returned. Oklahoma State University's dormitory, like most other American schools' dorms, is a double room, so Wayne naturally has only one roommate. Wayne's roommate is a stubborn-looking white boy named Cody Brandt. Because of his good looks and a little money at home, few girls at school can bear his temptation. And Cody himself is also a player, party after party, often staying out at night for 3 days or 2. Up to 2 weeks, Wayne will find that the female partner next to him has changed another person, a true prodigal son. Of course, this guy is very nice to Wayne, and he didn't show the arrogance of most whites because Wayne is an international student. In addition, Wayne is a basketball team. Although only a substitute, Cody still admires Wayne. Cody can be regarded as one of Wayne's few friends in school except Mr. Tony. Watching this point Cody hasn't returned yet, Wayne shook his head. It is estimated that the goods will not come back all night. He may be sleeping next to a freshman who is newly enrolled. Asshole, it's really not a thing. Envy? I don't envy it, but I have lofty ideals and want to play in the NBA. Why do I envy him? Thinking of this, Wayne cursed secretly, it's really going down. But it's okay, if Cody doesn't come back, Wayne can rest undisturbed tonight and prepare for the next day's formal training. Lying on the bed, looking at the white ceiling, Wayne began to ponder how to obtain growth points. 1 round of CIC training only adds 10 points, and 1 round of 3-point training can add 40 points. Is the harder the shot, the more points you add? Wayne didn't even think about it, so he fell asleep tiredly. In his dream, he stood on the NBA arena and competed with the familiar stars on the same arena and competed for honor. Kicked the 96 golden generation, punching the still immature 4 heroes, his life will be very different. But as soon as I opened my eyes, the reality that rushed to my face was, "Show, did you take the lead in grabbing the team coach's heart and becoming a starter? Road, you have to go step by step." The next day was the weekend and there were no classes, but Wayne still got up early and couldn't wait to head to the training ground of the Oklahoma State University Cowboys. I should say that the hardware facilities of American college basketball are indeed luxurious. The Gallagher-Alba Arena, home of the Cowboys, is named after the school's famous wrestling coach Ed Gallagher and the legendary basketball coach Henry Alba. It has nearly 14,000 seats. When this arena was built in 1938, its cost broke the national record at that time. In 2000, the school spent $55 million to upgrade the arena in all directions. It can be said that there is no difference between this arena and those NBA game arenas that Wayne saw on TV in his previous life. Looking at the pile of black seats around, Wayne swallowed. How does it feel to play in front of nearly 14,000 people? The cheers and cheers can overwhelm people. In my previous life, I played damn ball at school, and there were 2 more girls on the sideline, Wayne, who were very nervous. Just as Wayne was feeling the luxury of this arena, a sound of footsteps broke the silence. "Way, shouldn't you rest in the dormitory now?" Hearing someone calling himself, Wayne quickly turned his head away. Saw an old man with a sallow complexion, gray hair, and a serious expression coming towards him. The old man looks probably in his 60s, but he is full of energy and has a strong aura. "Good morning, Coach." Wayne greeted the old man. Past memories tell him that this old man is the head coach of the Oklahoma State University Cowboys, Eddie Sutton. Eddie Sutton? Wayne vaguely felt that he seemed to have heard this name in his previous life. "I didn't send you a text message last night to tell you to come back and report after a week of rest. You still have a bandage on your head, kid." Sutton walked to Wayne and looked at Wayne's with concern. "Wound." In fact, Sutton is preparing to take the whole team to visit Wayne after training this afternoon. Unexpectedly, Wayne appeared by himself. SMS. Wayne took out his Nokia brick and took a look, and there was an unread text message. "But Wayne slept too hard last night to see. Oh, the doctor said that I just suffered some skin injuries, no major problems. So I am here, the new season is about to start, I don't have an extra week to waste, Coach." Wayne didn't say that he didn't see the text message, but changed his opinion. Which coach does not like active players? Wayne thinks this is also a way to make a good impression on Sutton. The coaches in college basketball generally have more power than coaches in the NBA. In most NBA teams, the team bosses are players. Sometimes, the coach even goes back to court the players. But in the NCAA, the authority of the head coach cannot be challenged. No matter how talented you are in high school, you have to listen to the head coach when you get to college. Whether Wayne can start or not is a matter of Sutton. So there is absolutely no harm in leaving a good impression on him. "You are very motivated, boy, but after a holiday, you are still so thin. It seems that this season, I have to arrange some strength training for you." "No problem, I will work hard." Wayne is indeed very motivated, because he needs to grow points. After the two exchanged a few words, Sutton walked into his office, and Wayne continued to shoot the basket. Gradually, there are more and more people in the training hall. Wayne also discovered that in addition to Tony Allen, there are 2 other figures in the Cowboys who will appear in the NBA in the future. First of all, the team's main point guard John Lucas III, Wayne's previous life, Lucas had been a teammate for the Mosaic team in Yao Ming, so Wayne knew this little-known guy. There is also small forward Joey Graham, who just transferred from the University of Florida this year. Graham, like John Lucas III, hasn't had any dazzling results in the NBA. But he was called the poor man's James by the media during the draft, so Wayne still has some memories of Graham. These two guys belong to the insignificant little people in NBA history, but Wayne knows very well that anyone who can play in the NBA, even if it is just a drinking fountain administrator, is a big killer in the NCAA. It seems that the strength of the Cowboys this year is indeed quite strong. Fortunately, these two guys are not inside. Otherwise, it will be much more difficult for Wayne to get into the starting lineup. In fact, due to the departure of the team's starting power forward last season, the Cowboys' current starting fourth position is temporarily vacant. Therefore, as long as Wayne can find a way to quickly gain growth points, he still has a great chance to be in the starting position. It's so early today, Wayne, how do you feel? The first thing Tony Allen did after arriving at the training hall was to walk up and ask Wayne about his health. After all, he was hit by a car yesterday. The guy in the hospital. Although Wayne is Chinese, most of his teammates still call him by his full name instead of his last name. Because the pronunciation of Wayne's name is similar to the English name Wayne, yes, it's very much like the name of the rich man in Gotham City. As time passed, everyone got used to calling him Wayne directly. It's better, by the way, Tony, before the training starts, let's play One None. Hey! Seeing Wayne suddenly made such a request, Tony Allen was a little unexpected. Wayne was not like that before. As a power forward, he has never been interested in singles. In fact, Wayne is not interested in bullfighting either, he just wants to try. Reading www.yuyugonshu.com will grow more points than before when there are opponents. Moreover, Tony Allen now basically has quasi-NBA level strength. According to the system prompts, this kind of intensity and level of heads-up will definitely give you a lot of growth points. Come on, only by summing up experience in actual combat can you make progress. Let's do it, Tony. Seeing Wayne so enthusiastic, Tony Allen smiled and shook his head. He obviously felt Wayne's motivation. I really can't do anything with you, but I can say that Wayne, I won't let the water go. Tony Allen said, picked up the basketball, shot it casually, and the basketball jumped into the net. You may not believe it. Tony Allen, who doesn't know how to attack in the NBA, was the Cowboys' leading scorer last season. Although Wayne is much taller than Tony Allen is not at all empty. Don't forget, in Wayne's previous life, Tony Allen also made Durant, who was much higher than himself, uncomfortable. He never feared opponents taller than himself. Then we will play 21 points. A score within the 3-point line counts as 1 point, and a score outside the 3-point line counts as 2 points. If you don't grab a rebound, the ball will automatically belong to the other party if you miss a shot. Let's start. Wayne can't wait standing in front of Tony Allen, ready to start the game. At this time, the system really reacted. Intensity of the game, NBA level. The opponent's comprehensive ability, strong. The opponent's defensive ability, NBA level. When the intensity of the game is detected, all the growth points obtained in the game will have additional difficulty bonuses. Looking at the prompt in front of him, Wayne swallowed. This, finally got stuck in a bug? Seeing Wayne and Tony Allen preparing for a bullfight, the Cowboys players all leaned forward to wait and watch the fun. The result, where is the bullfight? It is a unilateral slaughter. 21-4, Tony Allen did not lie, he really did not soften to Wayne. Teacher Tony, who majored in education, gave Wayne a severe education. A Quasanba level player plays an NCAA substitute. Isn't that like playing? In front of Wayne, you just blow Tony Allen as the next Jordan and no one will refute it. Facing Wayne, Tony Allen played whatever he wanted. Wayne only scored 2 in the whole game by relying on his height at the basket, and then scored 1 outside the 3-point line, scoring a total of 3 goals. Most of the other times, Wayne was either cut off by Tony Allen before he raised the ball, or he was lucky enough to make a shot but hit the iron under the serious interference of Tony's teacher. Wayne is now with this thin body, let alone carrying the inside, it is hard to fight against Tony Allen as a guard. After all, Tony Allen's current confrontation ability is very close to the NBA level. Once the strength of the confrontation is up, Wayne's movements are deformed, and the ball is not accurate at all. Tony Allen deserves to be a defensive gate praised by a young Los Angeles blacksmith in the future. His performance on the defensive end is simply terrifying. After the bullfight was over, Tony Allen wanted to pat Wayne on the back to comfort his good brother. But after being defeated, Wayne didn't show a frustrated expression, but he looked very excited. Tony Allen, Nick Young face.jpg. That, Wayne. Ha 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 ha, you are really strong, Tony. I am so happy to see you so strong. This year, we will be able to make a blockbuster in the March Crazy Championship. Wayne laughed loudly, thinking that he had beaten Tony Allen 21-4 without knowing it. Tony Allen's mouth twitched twice, or else, take Wayne to the hospital for a review this afternoon? The problem with the head is a big problem. Wayne didn't care about other people's eyes, he was completely immersed in his own joy. Is so happy to be abused because he only scored 3 goals in the heads-up match just now, and gained 500 growth points. 500 points. Last night Wayne threw a few hundred baskets, and only got 90 points. Today I easily scored 3 goals and got 500 points. Is simply a huge profit. This is the so-called difficulty bonus. Is this the difference according to the intensity and method of training or competition? And the difference between competition and training is that training has to complete the corresponding goals to get growth points. But in the game, Wayne will immediately realize every time he gets a stat. 3 goals, of which 2 goals under the basket, 1 worth 50 points. The most valuable thing is that 3-point goal, just 1 goal is worth 400 points. At this time, Wayne has a preliminary understanding of the way to obtain growth points. In order to prove his conjecture, Wayne put forward a bullfighting invitation to another teammate John Lucas III. Lucas also wanted to show off, so he readily agreed to Wayne. Don't look at Lucas' height of less than 1.9 meters, but because the bullfighting rule is that as long as one side scores, he can always have the offensive ball. Therefore, Lucas simply did not give Wayne a chance to play to his height advantage. In the end, the result of the game was 21-8. This time, Wayne scored 8 goals, all from the basket, more than just before. But the growth points he finally got was only a miserable 16 points. And before the start of the game, the system did not prompt that the game had a difficulty bonus. At this time, John Lucas III is not an NBL player. Wayne's previous life, this man did not participate in the draft until his senior year, and he was also lost. Coupled with his defensive ability and Tony Allen is not comparable, Wayne has such a big advantage in height, so in combination, the difficulty of this game is much lower than just before. Because of this, Wayne can only get 2 points for a goal over Lucas. Now, Wayne basically understands the law of obtaining this growth value. Is very simple. In the evaluation of the system, the stronger the opponent you face, the better the defense, the higher the overall difficulty of the game, the more growth points you get. At least, this is one way to get more growth points. I feel comfortable now, plus yesterday's 90 points, Wayne has now accumulated 606 growth points. As long as Tony Allen is singled out once again, Wayne will basically be able to save 1000 points to upgrade. Is almost half the effort. This thigh, Wayne must hug it. Just when Wayne was shamelessly preparing to seek abuse from Tony Allen again, old coach Eddie Sutton walked out of the office, clapped his hands, and signaled everyone to gather in front of him. Suddenly, the noisy stadium became quiet. Wayne suddenly felt like the head teacher walked into the classroom. This is the prestige of college basketball coaches. Okay, I'm glad that no one is late today. Wayne has returned to the team and we are now fully staffed. Forget about your vacation, it is past tense. From now until November, everyone must be nervous. Stand up. In the new season, our goal is to win the Big 12 League Championship and reach at least the Sweet 16 in March Madness. I know that these two goals are very challenging. But as long as everyone is willing to work hard, there is nothing impossible. After Sutton finished speaking, the Cowboys players yelled in agreement. Sure enough, a chef who can't cook chicken soup is not a good coach. By the way, before the start of the new season, I will re-evaluate our squad in an all-round way. That is to say, anyone can become a starter or a substitute in the new season. Don't let up the starting players of last season. Don't be discouraged from the bench players. Let me see the value in you. My team only speaks with strength. Finally, Eddie Sutton also specifically emphasized the matter about the team lineup. Obviously, the old Sutton hopes to use this method to further stimulate the enthusiasm of the players and trigger a healthy competition. However, most people disagree. Although Sutton said that anyone could be a starter. Lucas, Tony Allen, and Graham are basically hardcore starters, no one can shake them. The strength of these three guys lies there, far above other players in the same position. But when Wayne heard Sutton's words, his eyes gleamed. The biggest shortcoming of the Cowboys is actually in the interior. There is currently no particularly suitable starting candidate in the team, and there is no inside player who is far superior to others. Several inside players, including Wayne, are half-hearted. The road to becoming a starter seems to be getting smoother. After Sutton explained, the trainers began to guide the players to conduct different special training. Generally speaking, the players need to complete their own special training in the morning, and the team will start training together in the afternoon. The specific training content of each player is different, because each person needs to be improved. For example, Lucas, as a defender, he needs to train his shooting. Graham is a small forward of the fauvism, he will focus on training his ability to attack the frame in confrontation. And Wayne? Most of what he currently does is strength training. He can't even touch the ball. He can only deal with all kinds of fitness equipment. He is crazy. Playing inside in this era, if you don't develop a whole body of tendons, who will use you? It's not a few years since Yao Ming joined the Mosaic team. But Wayne did not reject this, he even expressed his wish to gain weight to his trainer. Although he doesn't want to be too bulky, he is indeed too thin now. Every time he completes training, Wayne can gain growth points as always, but it is really pitiful, far worse than Tony Allen singled out. Just like that, Wayne spent a grueling morning in the power room. In the afternoon, Sutton divided the players into several groups and conducted 3-on-3 cross versus practice. Eddie Sutton, as an old-school coach who advocates muscular defense, is obsessed with playing against fierce basketball. At that time, the atmosphere of the entire basketball world was actually the same. Fierce confrontation and meat-grinder-like defense were the mainstream. Therefore, Sutton believes that training without practice and confrontation is ineffective. After finishing the special training in the morning, he will arrange some actual matches in the afternoon to let the players test their training results. And he encourages players to fight against each other during training. One of his words is, even in training, you have to treat your teammates as your real opponents. If you show mercy to your teammates now, it is equivalent to sending him in the future. Slaughtered by the opponent on the court. Standing to such a college coach, no wonder Tony Allen will be so obsessed with defense in the future. The 3-on-3 training group is random. Today, Wayne was assigned to the third group with Lucas and last season's tool-man backup guard Lamar Warren. In the first practice match, Wayne drew the first group led by Tony Allen. This. God helps me too. Looking at Tony Allen, Wayne barely shed water. Everyone wanted to stay away from Tony Allen during the confrontation training session. Because I ran into him, I was sure that there would be no good fruit. The number one man in the Cowboys is not a joke. Only Wayne, he saw Tony Allen's eyes as excited as he saw a cheerleader girl. "Come on, let the firepower come harder. Come on me with everything, Tony," Wayne muttered to himself in his heart, almost opening his arms. It turns out that being abused also has such a strong pleasure. Good, so ashamed. After the game started, Wayne's first team kicked off. Because it is 3 versus 3, Wayne can't directly play against Tony Allen. But it seems that as long as Tony Allen is there, the system defaults that the game has a difficulty bonus. It seems that heads-up is the overall strength of the opponent, while the team battle is the overall strength of the opposing team. Wayne wanted to face Tony Allen's crazy attack as soon as he came up, but after discovering that Sutton was watching this field, Wayne didn't dare to mess around. He knows that the old coach is looking at the candidate for the starting number 4 in the new season. If you make crazy shots to grow points, you will definitely leave a bad impression on Sutton. So Wayne made a cover for Lucas according to the rules, and the latter used this cover to prepare to break Tony Allen. But Mr. Tony's ability to get rid of the cover is too strong, and because Wayne is limited by his body shape, the quality of the cover is really average. Almost for an instant, Tony Allen returned to Lucas. Lucas saw that he was stuck by Tony Allen again and had to return the ball to Wayne near the free throw line. Wayne wanted to shoot, after all, he still has some confidence in his mid-range shot. But at this time, he saw Tolman guard Warren get rid of the opponent and cut to the basket. And because Wayne pulled out the opponent's inside line, UU reading www.uugonshu.com was unguarded at this time. It's annoying to be a tumor on the court, so Wayne changed his mind, changed his shot into a pass, and sent the ball to Warren, who cut in. Warren leaped lightly after receiving the basketball, and easily succeeded in the sky basket. This pass directly tore the opponent's defense. Wayne couldn't help looking at the growth points he had gained, and found that an assist was worth 20 points. Wayne faced ordinary players and scored a goal under the basket for single-digit rewards. But with an assist, there is an income of 20 points. After Wayne scored the first goal, in accordance with the rules set by Sutton, the ball was exchanged, and the other team attacked. Tony Allen pulled his hands from outside the three-point line, but the basketball missed. Tony in this period always has confidence in his scoring ability. Wayne got a defensive rebound after being well positioned, but one rebound was only worth 2 points. An assist can get 10 times as many points as a rebound. It's so magical. How does this system settle growth points? It seems that it is not only related to the difficulty of the game. 3-pointers and assists are so valuable, but rebounds and scoring are not rewarded. I'm an insider, isn't it what I should do when rebounding and scoring at the basket? Why are the rewards the least? 3-pointers and assists, which should be done by outsiders, why are they rewarded more? Bridge bean sack. Thinking about this, Wayne found out. He seemed to fully understand the rules for obtaining growth points. A brand new road to get rich appeared before Wayne. Although Wayne's assists were the first to win the game, Wayne and the others were forced to get down by Tony Allen's first group in the first game. There is no way, strength is not allowed. In fact, after a whole afternoon of 3-on-3 training match, Wayne's team always loses more and loses less. Although Wayne has the team's main point guard Lucas next to him, but Wayne and Tolman guard Warren are really slow. Except for Lucas, neither Wayne nor Warren have too much autonomous offense. And the halftime 3 versus 3 cannot play too complicated tactics, which greatly reduces Lucas's advantage in organizational ability. What surprised everyone was that Wayne seemed to get more excited as he lost. Wayne is really full of enthusiasm this season. It would be nice if everyone could be like him. Watching Wayne, who is wearing a bandage on his head, has been defeated and defeated repeatedly, the team assistant coach, at the same time Sean Sutton, the son of the head coach, smiled. Yes, the Cowboys are the first team in NCAA history where a father and son are the head coach and the chief assistant coach. That guy isn't so enthusiastic, it's more of a persistent stupidity. Eddie Sutton covered his forehead. It is a pity that Sutton is an American, and he doesn't even use the incisive word Tai Han Han. Sutton has been observing Wayne for a long time today, because the team's vacancy on the inside made him have to pay special attention to the substitute insiders last season. Wayne's enthusiasm is indeed commendable. As Sean said, no matter what situation he encounters, he is always full of energy and never give up. But Wayne's hard power is still a little bit off, and there is no impressive performance. Moreover, the way Wayne played on the court today made Sutton very puzzled. As a 2.11 meters tall inside player, Wayne likes to cruise in the high post and beyond the three-point line in the game today, but rarely walks to the basket. Three-pointers and high position support are what Wayne does the most today. Wayne's actions reminded Sutton of the German forward who averaged 5 three-pointers and sent 3 assists in Dallas. If a coach thinks Wayne is like Nowitzki at this time, that's not a good thing. After all, Dirk didn't really make a turnaround until he defeated the Heat in 2011 to win the title. Before that, Dirk had always been considered a pseudo-superstar, and the term soft egg seemed to be exclusive to Nowitzki. Dirk's play style and status are not so recognized in this era. Sutton shook his head. Wayne may have his sparkle, but Wayne doesn't know yet. He has been taken care of by Sutton as Nowitzki. Of course, he just played like Nowitzki. Wayne and Dirk are far behind now. His three-pointer is still at the stage of just daring to make a shot. But Wayne can't manage that much. He can earn hundreds of growth points with just one three-pointer. The vote is over, 1 won't lose, and 2 earned. And, because Wayne loves to support him in the high post today, he fed his teammates a lot of good goals and sent out a lot of assists. So even if they saw Wayne hit the iron frantically outside the three-point line, Lucas and Warren had a hard time talking. After all, it seems unreasonable to say that a teammate who loves to pass the ball. Lucas and Warren were completely pinched by Wayne. On the surface, Wayne seems to have lost badly today, but he is actually the one who really controls the overall situation. Finally, at 5:30 in the afternoon, the 3-on-3 confrontation training officially ended. Lucas and Warren are exhausted, but Wayne still has his eyes shining. What? The training is over? I haven't brushed enough. After hearing Sutton blow his whistle, Wayne said to himself. Really, ironing is addictive. Wayne didn't want to stop at all now. Okay, that's it for today, everyone did a good job. By the way, tomorrow is Sunday, but I still have to train in the morning. Don't be late, you know the consequences of being late. So that's it, disband. Sutton finished. Most of the Cowboys players dragged their tired bodies to the locker room. I saw Wayne walking fast, and the spring breeze trot through the crowd triumphantly, more energetic than Tony Allen who had won all afternoon. After changing his clothes, Wayne did not forget to say goodbye to everyone, and then left the locker room humming a little song. What a positive and optimistic guy. Tony Allen found that Wayne's image in his heart became more stalwart. Only suffered a car accident yesterday, and now the starting position has not been determined. Today he lost so badly, but he is still happy. There seems to be nothing that can obliterate Wayne's passion for life and basketball. Tony Allen made up his mind to be like Wayne, bravely and positively face life and setbacks. However, Tony Allen thinks too much. The reason why Wayne is in such a good mood has nothing to do with positive energy. The reason why he is happy is very simply he made a fortune today. You have earned a profit. After Wayne flew back to the dormitory, he could not wait to open the system interface. Looking at his current growth points, Wayne was as excited as when he was playing NBA 2K games that year. He used a modifier to adjust the SP point to 99,999. This kind of pleasure that can be upgraded and added at will is back. Current growth points, 3,560. The system can be upgraded. Do you want to continue? 3,560 points. Wayne did not expect that he had only taken 90 points last night, and he suddenly became rich today. It seems that as long as you grasp the method of quickly gaining growth points, the NBA might really do it. There are only two ways to get growth points quickly. First, it was also what Wayne had proved the first time. Fighting with stronger opponents can get more growth points. Before each match, whether it is heads-up, training or main match, the system will comprehensively evaluate the difficulty of the match based on factors such as the intensity of the match and the strength of the opponent. The greater the difficulty, the more growth point bonuses you will get. The second point was just discovered by Wayne when he was 3 versus 3. If you do something that does not fit the player in the position, you will get more growth points. As a power forward, usually Wayne should score mainly at the basket, and his main task should be to grab rebounds and defend inside. But if Wayne shot away from the basket, he would organize the offense like a guard, and he would have gained considerable growth points. For example, if Wayne is a defender, the number of points he gets for making a three-pointer will be very low. Because the system thinks that is what a defender should have done. But if you rush into the post as a defender to grab a rebound or block a cap, the rewards you get are several times that of three-pointers. Because from the system's point of view, as a defender, it is much harder to grab rebounds and blocks than to make three-pointers. Naturally, the reward will be more. Similarly, Wayne is an inside player, so rebounds and scoring at the basket are no longer valuable. In the system evaluation, grabbing rebounds and scoring at the basket are easier for insiders. But if you can go against the current and choose difficulty for three-pointers, or organize offenses and dribble like a defender, then the reward is absolutely tempting. It's really not easy for an inside player to make a three-pointer. Even in the small ball era in the future, reliable insiders with three-pointers are scarce. Lopez, Jokic, Horford, Green and other representatives of the three-pointer in the future, in fact, all have seasons in which the three-point shooting rate has turned over. To put it bluntly, they are still unstable. The three-point ability of most inside players is not as good as them. Therefore, under normal circumstances, it is unrealistic to want to use this method of slanting the sword to gain points. But Wayne is an insider who shoots better than low offense. Most Chinese domestic players have a good shot. Wayne inherited this fine tradition in addition to receiving basketball training since childhood. Wayne's ball quotient is also pretty good, but his passing ability is 63. High-ranking support is simply handy for him. This weird ability value, on the contrary, made Wayne stuck to the bug of the system. I have accumulated so many growth points in one afternoon, what more bicycles? Comfortable, upgrade. Wayne can't wait any longer, he just wants to quickly raise the abilities of his hot eyes. With the completion of the system upgrade, Wayne's ability value evaluation interface has changed a lot. Offensive, 72 mid-shot, 61 three-pointers, 43 low offense, 45 dunks defense, 46 blocks, 70 defensive rebounds, 38 inside defense. Technique, 63 passing, 23 possession. Physical fitness, strength 21, physical fitness 63. Currently available opportunities to add points, 25 times. First of all, Wayne's ability evaluation interface has 3 more attributes that were previously blacked out: possession, inside defense, and dunk. Secondly, there was a reminder of more opportunities. Wayne tried to tap the plus sign behind the 3-point ability, prompting that it would cost 100 growth points and at the same time, it would take an opportunity to add points. That is to say, every time Wayne upgrades the system, the opportunity to increase the ability value is limited. No matter how many growth points you have, you only have 25 chances to add points. Of course, if you don't use up the 25 bonus points this time, you can use it together next time. After reading the systematic explanation, Wayne suddenly felt that his feelings had been cheated. He originally thought that as long as he had enough growth points, he could increase his abilities as he wanted. However, there is a limit on the number of times he can add points, which is equivalent to his ability value at each stage, is actually limited. Once the upper limit of is full, no matter how much money you hold in your hand, it cannot be further increased. Can only use continuous upgrades to continuously increase his upper limit, and the growth points in his hand can come in handy. Wayne frowned. What kind of salted fish system is this, Nima? To put it bluntly, it's just cheating. Although this method of improving ability is actually quite scientific, increasing the upper limit step by step will prevent the possibility of becoming a superstar overnight. But Wayne still has tens of millions of horses rushing past. Do I want science? Who doesn't want to start to be invincible? There is no way. Now I can only follow the rules of the system slowly. Wayne originally wanted to use his brain to take all 25 bonus opportunities to add 3 points. Reading www.yuyuganshu.com will help him to grow points more efficiently. But then he found out, he couldn't afford it at all. For the first time adding 3-point ability, Wayne spent 100 growth points. But when Wayne continued to add points, the price required to improve his 1 point and 3-point ability became 150. Continue, add 1 point and it becomes 200. Sure enough, the higher the value of a certain ability, the more growth points it needs. In the end, Wayne increased his 3-point ability to 68, and it has already spent his 1,750 growth points and 7 bonus points. GUI is really expensive, but fortunately, he has Tony Allen's thigh and the ability to jam bugs. Otherwise, after 4 years of college, it is estimated that not many growth points will be saved. After adding 3 points, Wayne only has 1,810 points left. At first, he thought that 25 additional opportunities were too few, but now he found that he was too poor to even use up these 25 opportunities. After adding a 7 point 3-point ability, there are not many growth points left. So Wayne didn't continue to rush to add more, but seriously thought about it. Under heavy restrictions, he must be more cautious in adding points. Although you can earn points when doing outside work as an inside player, this skill tree cannot be completely crooked. This is 2003 after all. At this time, if an inside line only floats outside to make a shot, it is not welcome. When the United Arab Emirates floated outside the 3-point line to shoot, I don't know how many people called him soft. By the time you are embarrassed to say that you are a serious insider, it is difficult to gain the trust of the coach. So, what is the most appropriate development? This is a question that needs to be studied carefully. Wayne looked at the few growth points left in his hands and thought about his future development direction. In this era, every NBA team still attaches great importance to the inside. The greatest value of inside players is the dominance of the penalty area. You may not score at the basket, but as long as your defense at the basket is good enough, you don't have to worry about food. Ben Wallace, who has almost no independent offensive ability, is now able to play well in the NBA because of his excellent inside defense. A certain age-unknown African center also relied on his excellent inside defense, and became an all-star starter 3 times. If you don't have superb offensive skills at the basket, and no outstanding ability to protect the frame, it is really difficult to move in this era. Space power forward was not a popular concept in 2003. Can only shoot but not defend, but can't survive in the NBA. Thinking about how miserable the future Italian number 1 pick, Bargnani, will be mixed, it is not difficult to imagine an inside player who can only shoot. So Wayne decided that after improving his 3-point shooting ability, he should increase his ability to defend inside. Whether in 2003 or 2020, good defensive players are always the most popular. Who said that 3D players are exclusive to outside players? Wayne just wants to be a 3D player on the 4th position. But the attributes of inside defense and shooting are different, the composition of this ability is very complicated. From the perspective of the currently unlocked abilities, if you want to become a defensive gate, then the 3 attributes of blocking, strength and inside defense are indispensable. Among them, Wayne's strength is in urgent need of improvement. But even if all his remaining points are invested, his strength will not improve significantly. And the recent training has increased Wayne's strength by 1 point. In other words, in addition to Krypton growth points, training can also improve ability values. Because the base value is too low, it is easier for Wayne to improve his strength by training. Strength can be practiced. After almost all players enter the NBA, they will undergo a process of physical change, which is actually a process of strength growth. Even Shaq did not become fat until years after entering the league. Few players enter the league and their power is at their peak. Generally speaking, power can be made up for by acquired efforts. But other things can't be achieved by pure practice. Wayne's talent is just that. If he can grow a superstar by training alone, why does he need to be systematic? So Wayne decided to train on his own for the time being. When the bottleneck is really hard to train, then use the growth points to rush. At the moment, I still reserve the points for some attributes that are not easy to learn. Then, there are only 2 blocks left and low post defense. Blocking and low post defense can't be confused. For example, a lot of floor flow insiders do not have much block data, but the actual defense effect is very good. Because even if they cannot complete the shot, they can effectively interfere with the opponent's shooting and force the opponent to strike. The ultimate goal of the defensive end is to prevent the opponent from scoring a goal. So as long as the opponent can hit the iron, even if there is no block, it is a good defense. But Wayne can't do this, because defensive things can't simply use data to show good or bad. If you can't use data to show good or bad, Wayne can't maximize his value in front of coaches and scouts. Think about it, if Wayne averaged 0.3 blocks per game, even if he was excellent in defense, many people would subconsciously think that Wayne is not a good frame protector. But if Wayne's blocked shots can go up, even if his defensive ability is actually not that good, it will give people the illusion that this guy is full of dominance in the penalty area. Wayne's previous life, the 200,607 season's Best Defensive Player Award winner Marcus Camby did just that. That season, Duncan led the Spurs to play the league's best defensive efficiency, while Camby's Nuggets were a defensive team with a low level. Many people think that the Best Defensive Player Award that year should have belonged to Duncan. Then why did Camby beat Duncan to win the Best Defensive Player trophy? Is because Camby's defensive stats are so dazzling. In the 06-07 season, Camby averaged 3.3 blocks per game, which was the league's block leader in the season. At the same time, he was able to average 9.3 defensive rebounds per game. Anyone who has watched the Nuggets game knows that Camby's defense at that time basically did not get stuck and ignored the opponents. He only brushed blocks and rebounds in the backcourt. The data was good but the actual defensive effect was a mess. But so what? The Best Defensive Player Award is still in hand. This is the power of data. There is a saying that Marcus Camby's defensive ability was really gold and silver when he was young, but he suffered a loss when he was good defensive but not appreciated. So in the middle and late stages of his career, he started to go farther and farther on the way to collect data. The irony is that Camby's contract is getting bigger and more honorable. Wayne didn't want to be a data brush, but he didn't want to suffer the loss of data. To put it plainly, actually I just want to brush it. Since you can't improve your defensive ability all at once, create the illusion that you are good at defensive. After weighing the rights and disadvantages, Wayne decided to invest all the remaining growth points in the block. 8 blocks attribute, it took Wayne 1,800 points to grow, the blocking ability value went from 46 to 54. If this ability value is calculated based on the NBA standard, then 54 blocks in the NCAA are probably not weak. After confirming to add points, Wayne still has 10 chances to add points. He can choose to immediately use up these 10 opportunities as soon as he accumulates the growth points, or he can choose to accumulate and digest them together after upgrading again. But Wayne still wants to increase his attributes immediately after gaining growth points. At this stage, he must immediately become stronger, and there is no time to believe in the process. After add points, the prompt under the system also changed to the number of growth points required to unlock the next stage of the system, 10,000. Does the next upgrade require 10,000 growth points? Compared to the first time, it is 10 times higher. But, it's just a piece of cake. Wayne smiled triumphantly. At first, Wayne found it difficult to save 1,000 points. But now he has found the two great stunts of the card system bug. Even if it is 10,000 points, Wayne doesn't think there are too many. Today, he earned more than 3,000 growth points in one day. Isn't it only 3 or 4 days to accumulate 10,000 points? Even if the growth points that Wayne needs to add to the attributes are removed, that 1 week will definitely be enough to upgrade. Becoming a starter in 2 months, it definitely works. Wayne, who was so confident, was about to turn off the system interface, but the system suddenly jumped out of a line and made a ding sound. The mission system has been unlocked. The first mission, prove the strength. Mission goal, become the team's starter before the start of the new season. Task reward, a level lucky draw package. Mission system. Wayne scratched his head. It seems that this new version of the upgraded ship is not just as simple as adding a few visible attributes to Wayne. For this task, Wayne has nothing to complain about. After all, his goal was to get into the starting lineup. But this mission reward, lucky draw pack, it should be similar to unpacking. Thinking of his dark-faced experience out of the box, Wayne was desperate. What's not good about rewarding you, but rewarding something out of the box? As far as I am of African descent, what fun can I offer? Look at the big heart shooter badge drawn last time. Wayne didn't know what it was for until now. Well, before the next draw, you must wash your face first. As soon as Wayne closed the system interface, the door to the dormitory was opened. Wayne remembered that before going out for training this morning, his short, rich and handsome roommate Cody Brandt hadn't come back yet. If he doesn't show up again, Wayne will forget this roommate. Gosh, Wayne, you don't know how crazy it was last night. I changed 2 in one night. Hey buddy, why are you wearing a bandage? What happened? Did anyone bully you? After entering the door, Cody saw the bandage on Wayne's head and his expression immediately became serious. As I remember, Cody and Wayne have a good relationship. Cody has a flamboyant personality, while the former Wayne is very kind, knows how to listen quietly, and their personalities complement each other. Naturally there will be no problems getting along. You may not believe it, I was hit by a car yesterday. Don't talk about Cody, Wayne didn't believe it himself, so many things happened in just 2 days. What? Did you find the perpetrator? The hospital he took me to paid me all the medical bills, and he said that he could get a discount for dinner at his restaurant. Don't worry, Cody, I'm fine. I went to training today, it was just some skin trauma. God, it scared me to death. Fortunately, you are fine. So, I told you not to go running early in the morning. Doesn't he enjoy running a few laps in school? Cody let out a sigh of relief. After confirming that Wayne was okay, he resumed the topic just now. Right, where did you go? Oh, it's a shame that you didn't go yesterday, Wayne, those newly enrolled school girls are simply too crazy. Seeing Cody happily recounting his tragic melee experience last night, Wayne felt that he should not call Cody at all, but Teddy. Oh, yes, there is an interesting event next weekend. Would you like to go with me? After Cody finished talking about his experience last night, he extended an invitation to Wayne. Wayne waved his hand. Forget it, I just want to play basketball honestly. Wayne is certainly not unfamiliar with women, but that kind of multiplayer sports party? Seriously, Wayne is really not easy to let go. And now I have the task of getting into the starting lineup within 2 months, and there is no extra time and energy to waste. Oh? Are you sure? I'll regret it if I don't go. Cody raised his eyebrows. You say that every time, Cody. Well, don't go. It's a pity that the opportunity to participate in NBA Fans Day is not always available. I thought you were interested in anything related to basketball. What did you say? NBA fan meeting. Wayne suddenly lit up. Yeah, otherwise what activity do you think it is? Damn, don't you think I want to take you there, tisk tusk, I know your kid is just superficially honest, ha 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 ha. Looking at Cody who was laughing, Wayne was speechless. It's not that you make people think crooked easily. In the end, Yu reading www.yuyugonshu.com was also accused by Cody of standing on the moral high ground. But this NBA fan meeting, Wayne really wants to go. As a fan in his previous life, he could only watch the NBA through the screen. This time I have a chance to meet a real person. Which fan can resist this temptation? Speaking of it, it is September now, and the new NBA season is about to start. There are indeed many meetings like this during this period. But, it's 2003, and the Thunder won't be born until 5 years later. There is no NBA team in Oklahoma at this time. So, are you going? Cody asked again. This time, Wayne nodded obediently. My uncle is a reporter for the Trail Blazers. He got a few places for the meet and greet and asked me if I want to go. You know, I am not very interested in basketball. But if you want to go, I don't mind to go play. Turns out to be the Trail Blazers, so that makes sense. Portland is not far from the still Shui City, and it can do it back and forth in one day. Although Wayne is not a Trail Blazers fan, he doesn't remember what players the Trail Blazers have at this time. But being able to get in touch with the NBA for the first time, Wayne is still excited. Then, I thank you in advance, Cody. It is convenient to have a rich second-generation friend. Cut, what are you doing like this? Besides, I heard that the girls at Portland State University are also good. Cody had just returned a serious smile, showing a meaningful smile. Damn, as expected, there are other purposes. Wayne shook his head, and Cody, the fox's tail showed too quickly. Eddie Sutton was sitting in front of his office computer with a cup of coffee. On the computer screen, a video of the game of the University of Texas Longhorns last season is playing. The University of Texas Longhorns were the Big 12 League Championship last season, and they also got the best record in team history of 26 wins and 7 losses. In addition to winning the Big 12 League Championship, the Longhorns also reached the Final Four as a dark horse in the March Madness Championship. This is the first time they have reached the semifinals in 56 years. This shows how terrifying the Longhorns team last season. There is no doubt that the Longhorns are the biggest stumbling block on the road to success for the Cowboys, who are aiming for the Big 12 championship this season. Although the Longhorns star last season, Naismith and Wood Award winner T.J. Ford left the team in the draft this summer. But they are still a tough team to deal with. In addition to T.J. Ford, the Longhorns also have second-year star guard Roy Ivey. This guard from Queens, New York, like most kids on the streets of New York, is extremely tough on defense. When the two sides played against each other last season, he created a lot of trouble for Tony Allen. After T.J. Ford left, Ivey is undoubtedly the leader of the Longhorns. In addition to Roy Ivey, Sutton has another problem. That is the fresh blood who just joined the Longhorns this year, the talented player P.J. Tucker from Eno High School. P.J. Tucker's most famous performance in high school was that he used to be a high school third-year player and restrained Carmelo Anthony, who was a senior in a game. Carmelo Anthony, who is he? That was the winner of the NCAA championship last season, and this year's draft is a guy who was compared with LeBron James. Coincidentally, the Longhorns were eliminated by Anthony in the Final Four last season. Many experts believe that if the Longhorns had P.J. Tucker last season, maybe the champion would not be Anthony. Tucker's defensive ability is undoubtedly, he has been as tough as a professional player in high school. Although the height is average, but the power is very scary. Terrifying power and strong athletic ability allow him to blow up the restricted area with his height disadvantage. In high school, Tucker seemed to be the next Charles Barkley. Although Tucker hasn't played an NCAA game yet, Sutton has no reason to underestimate such a guy. What's more, this season the Cowboys just lacked a strong forward who can match Tucker, which made Sutton even more devastated. Thinking of this, Sutton paused the game video. The reason why he told everyone before the start of the season that the starting position may be reorganized is to stimulate the full energy of those players at the fourth position. Sutton knows very well that if he doesn't find a fourth position that can compete with PJ Tucker, it would be idiotic to win this year. But for now, he really doesn't have a good candidate. Wayne was his most optimistic at the beginning, because Wayne has a huge advantage over Tucker in height. But in yesterday's training, Wayne's performance did not make Sutton feel that dazzling. His habit of shooting from outside has not changed. Although Wayne's ability to cope in a high position has made Sutton's eyes bright, but rather than coping, Sutton wants to see an unyielding inside defense. However, the preparatory training before the new season has just begun. Sutton told himself that he must be patient. Those children still have room for growth. Boom, 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 boom. Sutton was thinking, but he, who was in the office, vaguely heard a sound from outside. It sounded like a basketball hitting the wooden floor. Someone came so early. Sutton looked at the clock on the wall in astonishment. It's only 6:40. Since today is Sunday, the training time is relatively late, starting at 9 o'clock. Under normal circumstances, the players are grateful for not being late on Sunday morning. But today, there is actually the National People's Congress training in advance during the weekend. Sutton opened the office door curiously. On the empty training ground, he saw the Chinese student who was practicing three-pointers. Ah! Are you the coach too? Seeing Sutton suddenly appeared, Wayne was startled. He always thought there was no one in the training hall. I couldn't sleep at home, so I came over. Sutton nodded. He was so devastated by the Longhorns that he couldn't sleep at 5 in the morning, so he went straight to the office to see the video started. Are you very hard-working? Don't you sleep late on weekends? Sutton looked at Wayne's skin and found that he had sweated a lot. I can't sleep too much, and I don't want to waste time when I think that I am still far away. Wayne tilted his head, and then continued to shoot three-pointers. Because of the increase in the three-point ability value yesterday, Wayne's shooting percentage during the three-point practice has increased a lot. It stands to reason that the three-point ability value of 68 is not high. But the NCAA's three-point line is closer to the basket than the NBA. Therefore, Wayne 68's three-point ability is already very strong in the NCAA. Mariah Lonzo Ball, the crooked blacksmith, has an estimated three-point ability of 60 in the NBA. But in the NCAA, his three-point shooting percentage is as high as 41%. Now, Wayne can complete the three-point training faster and easier, earning growth points crazy. Watching Wayne hit consecutive shots from various positions, Sutton began to seriously consider the possibility of Wayne as a space power forward. Wayne shot more from the middle distance last season, but the three-pointer Wayne showed in the past 2 days has made Sutton shine. Although Sutton does not expect Wayne to kill the game by 3 points, he still firmly believes that an inside line should be used in the penalty area. But the emergence of the space-based fourth position at least enriches the Cowboys' tactics next season. Just imagine, if Wayne can open the space, the breakthrough of Tony Allen and Graham will be easier. By the way, I have a small request and I want to discuss it with you. After completing the training task of hitting 100 three-pointers with only 175 shots, Wayne sweated profusely and walked to the thoughtful one. Sutton approached. Go ahead, what's the matter? Sutton thought to himself, Wayne might recommend himself and want to start? As a result, Wayne's request was unexpected by Sutton. I just want to add ball control training to the original training plan. Possessing the ball. Sutton looked at Wayne in astonishment. Does this guy really know where he is? Likes to float on the outside to shoot, like to hold the ball like a defender. Now he actually wants to deliberately train the ball? Which player with a height of 2.11 meters did you meet to practice ball control? That's how you want to be a pentagonal warrior? Wayne certainly did not make such a request on a whim. Since in the game, doing things that do not fit the players in the position can increase the acquisition of growth points, so training must be the same. This also explains why the three-point shooting training is currently the most added training item. If you complete the ball control training, you might get more growth points. Wayne has gone farther and farther on the road of card system bugs. Is it possible to increase the special training of ball control? It is not impossible, but, do you really need it? Sutton did not directly refuse, no one would refuse players who actively trained. And seeing Wayne so enthusiastic, Sutton really couldn't bear to pour cold water. Student players are not the same as professional players. They are students first and then players. If a student actively wants to learn, the teacher is not easy to say no. Of course I do. I don't want to leave too many shortcomings. Before the start of the new season, I have to try to fill in my disadvantages. Strength, weight, and ball possession are my current disadvantages and my main goal to improve. In the future, in the game, I can't always receive the ball every time, I can only stand in place stupidly. Wayne's eyes were firm, and he was right. Look, see, this is what a student player should look like. This enthusiasm, this pure obsession with basketball, this kind of enthusiasm to work hard to improve is rare in young people now. Sutton secretly admired Wayne in his heart. Regardless of whether Wayne finally made a starter or not, Sutton decided to give this hard-working teenager more opportunities. But what Wayne thought in his mind was, there is another way to grow points, so I'm so full. After the morning training started, Sutton really added the ball handling training for Wayne. Following a group of guards, Wayne dribbled the ball through barricades, looking a little bit self-satisfied. But when Wayne completed a round of training, he also got the reward he deserved. One round of ball control training allowed Wayne to get 50 growth points, which is more than the growth points he got in three-point training. Since this way, Wayne has been able to get a lot of points for just completing regular training every day. Besides, there are so many skills that you don't have to press down. Although it is for the purpose of scoring points to practice ball control, if you really practice the ball control attributes in the future, it will be beneficial and harmless. In a blink of an eye, a week passed. After a week of accumulation, Wayne has completely digested the 10 bonus points left from the last upgrade. He only spent 2 points on three-pointers. For the NCAA, a three-point ability of 70 is more than enough. For the rest, Wayne continued to add all the covers. Currently, Wayne's blocking ability has reached 62. The blocking ability of 62 is also not high, but with Wayne's height and 2.30 meters wingspan, it is still enough to cause great deterrence in the university arena. Yes, Wayne's wingspan data is very beautiful, and he was taken aback when he measured his wingspan yesterday. This static talent really doesn't have to be said, but it's a pity that the basketball loss is too touching. At this time on the training ground, the Cowboys' daily reserved show 3 vs 3 crossover confrontation is underway. Sutton and his son both stared at Wayne, because he just rewarded John Lucas with a volleyball hat. Don't look at John Lucas III, who is only 1.83 meters tall, but his ability to avoid blocks is very good, and he can't just stand up and risk him. When he singled out with Wayne a few days ago, Lucas didn't let Wayne take advantage. Reading www.yuyugonshu.com, but this time, Wayne accurately seized the opportunity to make Lucas defeated. And similar things are happening more and more frequently these days. People suddenly discovered that Wayne's recently guarded basket was a bit difficult to play. It's not just Lucas, there are only a handful of people on the team who haven't been risked by Wayne these days. Wayne's performance made Sutton very happy, because last season, Sutton could not see this in Wayne. In nearly a week of training, Wayne has been surprising people almost every day. Did you see his defense, Sean? Eddie Sutton slightly raised the corner of his mouth. He really loved Wayne's violent hot pot inside these days. Actually, Wayne still has many shortcomings on the defensive end. For example, the speed is not fast enough, the confrontation is a bit difficult, the position is not accurate enough, and so on. But his beautiful covers time and time again, he concealed those shortcomings. Marcus Camby's law works. As long as you block enough shots, outsiders will have a good defense impression of you. Wayne seems to have fully evolved. His three-pointers are now stable and the defense is not weak. At the same time, he is one of the most diligent players. Sean Sutton agrees with his father and praises Wayne. Constantly speaking. Yes, the most diligent person will always have good results. Sutton and his son were chatting, and there was another pop on the court. This time, it was Tolman guard Warren who was unlucky. His empty cut layup was directly hit by Wayne on the rebound. Is simply ruthless. Sutton looked at Wayne, who finished the block, and couldn't help applauding. The appearance of his starting lineup for the new season has gradually become clear. John Lucas III was panting and holding the ball from the outside, sweating profusely. Standing in front of him at this time is freshman guard Hal Joyce. It stands to reason that in the face of this mediocre first-year rookie, Lucas, as a college star player, should be able to win easily. But at this time, he and his teammates are in a hard fight. Joyce looked relaxed, even somewhat casual. He knows that it doesn't matter if he is breached by Lucas, because there is someone behind him. Lucas hurriedly tore through Joyce's line of defense abruptly with speed. At the same time, Lucas' teammate and Tolman Warren also pulled Tony Allen to the other side of the court. In the past, as long as it doesn't match Tony Allen, Lucas can basically score as much as he wants. But today, even if he breaks through his counterpoint, even if Tony Allen is pulled away, Lucas dare not slacken his efforts. Because between him and the basket, there is still the Wayne who seems to be addicted to blocking shots. The basket guarded by Wayne has become a well-known no-fly zone this week. Lucas hesitated for a while, but rushed in. "Damn, I'm not afraid of death." Wayne immediately took a step forward when he saw this, preparing to block Lucas's layup. "It's now." Seeing Wayne take a step forward, Lucas' eyes shined. As he was on the move, he suddenly hit the ground and sent the ball to the inside teammate Frank Holmes. Holmes was the starting center of the Cowboys last season. He is a pure blue-collar and is responsible for the dirty work on the court. Although he is only 2.08 meters tall, he weighs 108 kilograms. He is a veritable warrior. Because Wayne has just taken a step forward and left the reasonable collision zone to prepare for Lucas, now Holmes has a chance to close to the top of the basket behind Wayne. Lucas' vision is still so good, Wayne was cheated. From the beginning, Lucas' purpose was to pass the ball. Sean on the sidelines clapped in advance, but his father shook slightly. Shook his head. Really? The little space that Holmes has gained doesn't seem to be enough. As soon as old Sutton's voice fell, Holmes, who had just jumped up, felt that the basket was dull. In the next second, Wayne's big hand arrived as expected, and he shot the basketball fiercely. Since improving his blocking ability, Wayne's judgment on the timing of blocking has been qualitatively improved. He can always react immediately and seize the fleeting opportunity to block shots. Snapped. Wayne's arm is like a fly swatter, flying the basketball fan out of bounds for the third consecutive round. Lucas' plan failed. "Ha ha 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 ha, good job Wayne, that's it, this is my Big Mac." Tony Allen excitedly rushed up and pushed Wayne, and he was most excited about being assigned to a team with Wayne. Because this week, as long as they are put in a group, they will basically not lose in a 3-on-3 crossover confrontation. Yes, yeah, well done. Wayne replied calmly, not particularly excited, just like a veteran. It seems that in his sophomore year, he is also a lot more mature than last season. Even though he has completed a beautiful shot, he is still very calm. Old Sutton nodded approvingly. The goal just now, it stands to reason that Holmes should be a must, because Lucas has cheated Wayne out a step. But Wayne's wingspan is really outstanding, which makes his cover range extremely huge. Turn around easily and Wayne killed Holmes's layup. Now, Eddie Sutton is more and more looking forward to the 5-on-5 practical training from next week. He really wants to know if this steady Chinese forward can maintain this state in the 5v5 match. That's right, calm. In everyone's opinion, Wayne's unwavering appearance after completing the cover is a manifestation of his calm personality. But actually, complete the cover, gain +5 points. Looking at the growth points that look like ant meat, Wayne is really depressed, not calm. So annoying, I really want to float out and shoot 3 points. Also, why did you join Tony Allen today? As the strongest fighting force of the Cowboys, it is too violent to be with him. You have to be an opponent with him. Only by confronting Tony Allen, can you get the most difficulty bonus and earn the most growth points. Has become tortured with Tony Allen now, and there is not much income after playing for an afternoon. So boring, invincible, so lonely. Wayne couldn't lift the energy, and Lucas and his party were completely autistic. 3 consecutive rounds, one by one, was risked by Wayne. Is there any reason? Is there a king fa? Wayne's progress is faster than everyone expected. It was already miserable to deal with a Tony Allen, and now there is one more Wayne. This is impossible to fight. In the end, Wayne and Tony Allen easily won the round 218. Coach, I suggest that you can't put Wayne and Tony on the first team in the future. As soon as the game was over, the bullied John Lucas ran to sue the teacher. I can't control this, Lucas. You know, our groups are random. Sutton smiled and spread his hands. He really enjoyed the match between Wayne and Tony Allen. Then separate Wayne and Tony first. Really, they are together, all of us don't even want to score. Looking at Lucas actively fighting for a fair game environment, Wayne muttered in his heart, I agree too. And Tony Allen are really boring in the team. In this way, under the terrible rule of Wayne and Tony Allen, the Cowboys ended another day of training. No matter which team it is, it cannot survive the defensive chain built by Wayne and Tony Allen. After returning to the locker room, Wayne called up the system interface to take a look. At this point, he was 1,200 points away from upgrading again. If it weren't for the team with Tony Allen today, Wayne estimated that he could already upgrade the system to version 2.0. Blame Benzema. Hey? How did my ball handling attributes improve? As Wayne was about to close the system interface, he found that his ball handling attributes had changed from 21 to 23. But he didn't add any points to possession. Is it difficult to do, because I recently requested to increase the ball control training? It seems that through training, not only can you gain growth points, but you can also enhance your attributes, but the growth is very slow. It was really enjoyable today, Wayne. I can already imagine that next season we will surprise our opponents at the March Madness Championship. At this time, Tony Allen walked out of the shower room and stretched out his hands excitedly to give Wayne a high five. He was still immersed in the joy of just a series of victories. Wayne looked at the thing dangling in front of him, and couldn't get his hands off. Tony, you can even wear a bath towel. Ha 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 ha, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. Playing with your team is fun. I didn't expect you to improve so much. Say, did you secretly train during the summer vacation? Well, I didn't take much effort during summer vacation. Wayne would never tell Tony Allen that after returning to China from the summer vacation, he actually hadn't even touched a day of formal training. In 2003, the domestic basketball facilities were still very limited. And since he has already come out of the youth team, it is hard to go back and train with others. Therefore, Wayne basically trained by himself during the summer vacation, and the effect is well known. However, no one knows what Wayne experienced during those months in China. Therefore, he can attribute all the reasons for his progress to the summer vacation, so as not to raise doubts. If you can perform like this in an official game, I believe NBA scouts will notice you, Wayne. Maybe we can still play together in the NBA, we must cheer what? Tony Allen looked at his hands, his expression gradually becoming serious. There is a saying, although I don't want to be grouped with Tony Allen, but after contacting him during this time, Wayne still thinks Tony Allen is quite interesting. Tony Allen never complained when practicing Oneo-nun, and he took good care of himself on weekdays. Like most football stars, Mr. Tony, who was born in Chicago, the Gilt City, had a childhood full of violence and crime. There used to be many friends around him who played together, but gradually, most of them went to prison, and in the end he was the only one left. Therefore, he cherishes his friends who play with him very much, including Wayne. But speaking of the NBA, Wayne has to rush to Portland with his short, rich, and handsome roommate Cody this afternoon. Just this Sunday, there is only half a day of training, and Wayne has no class on Monday morning. He can go to this rare fan meeting with peace of mind. Looking forward to it for a week, Wayne can't wait. The thought of seeing live NBA stars immediately makes Wayne feel much better. Wait, it seems that Tony Allen is a living NBA star. After changing his clothes, Wayne hurriedly returned to the dormitory. Cody has already called the car, and the two can leave with their luggage. Don't think that Jingshui City is just a university town, but because there are so many international students, this small city still has its own airport. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com flew from here to neighboring Portland in just over an hour. In the taxi, Cody had already started meeting the girl in Portland. Wayne admired him so much. It seemed that as long as he was on American soil, there would be no girl that Cody could not meet. No, maybe we can continue the appointment after the American product. Are you really going to attend the fan meeting? Wayne asked silently as he watched Cody text messages skillfully. Of course, but after the fan meeting, we two big men can't stare in the hotel room. Cody gave a smirk. Damn, you are fooling around under the guise. Tisk tusk, am I that kind of person? Normally studying is so stressful, I should relax too. Wayne can be regarded as seeing what it means to be shameless, and the world is invincible. Unima will run away from 1 to 5 in a week, and you will run away from 24 or 6, and rest on Sunday. Do you call this stressful study? Most of MED's students play, they are much crazy than Chinese college students. Oh, that's right. My uncle just told me that today's fan meeting has a special session where you can get close to the Blazers stars. You must be very interested. Close contact. That's right, they seem to draw 3 lucky fans on the spot, and Oneo-nun against the Blazers players. You grow so tall and you have a high chance of being selected, Wayne. Oneo-nun against NBA stars? It seems quite interesting. Wait, doesn't that mean growth points will explode?